Hey y'all, welcome to my channel or welcome back. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining us. If you are returning, you already know it. You are fabulous. All right, so today's video, this is some spring DIYs. I'm very excited about these. Now, these are some Dollar Tree / thrift flip DIYs. Super excited, very cute stuff today, so let's just jump right in. So for this first one, I have got a tray that I picked up from the Dollar General store for $5. I've also got some of these half beads that I picked up on Amazon, and y'all, they just happen to be the exact same size as the ledge of that tray. Now, I'm going to be using some black chalkboard paint and a very fine paintbrush, not fine paintbrush, but one that's got a really good line on it. If I don't know how to say it, but I was trying to paint the bottom of this tray without having to take this apart. So I was really trying to go easy and make sure that I didn't get it on the sides, which I ended up doing, and we're going to have to take the whole thing apart anyways, but that's completely besides the point. I did give this 2 really good solid coats of that black chalkboard paint. I used my heat gun to dry it. Now, I'm going to use the wood glue. It's the Super Glue wood glue from the Dollar Tree. And I just squeezed a little bit out onto a paper towel. And then I take a little paintbrush and just paint that onto the bottom of my bead. That way I can kind of, well, at least I know exactly how much glue is going on there, and I'm not getting enough that it's going to like ooze out when I push the bead down, if that makes sense, as opposed to just squeezing it onto each bead. So I just paint a little bit onto each one of the beads, and then I'm just going to actually start by placing all 4 corners down, and then I will place the rest of the beads. That way I can make sure that when I go through this, my corners come out just right. So I just went ahead and did that, and then I'm going to go through and place the rest of the beads all the way around the outside edge of this tray. Now, this tray was cute to begin with, but I just thought this made it so much cuter. Now, once I got that done, I realized that you could still see where it said relax. I mean, you could just still see it very, very plain. So I decided to pop the bottom of the tray out, which is what I should have done to begin with, guys, but I didn't really realize that I could pop it out so easily, but that's, once again, besides the point. Anyways, I did use my heat gun to get the tag off of the back, and then I went through and just picked out the rest of the paper that was kind of stuck to the edges of the side of the tray. Very, very simple, but as you can see there, I did accidentally get it on the sides as I was painting. So I'm going to take my mineral chalk paint, and we're just going to paint the inside edge of this tray with that mineral just to cover up any of the black. Plus, it's actually almost exactly the same color as the beads. So you really don't even notice that that part is painted. You just don't see the black spots that I accidentally got on there. So this worked out perfect. Now, I did go ahead and paint the back of the bottom of this tray. I gave it 1 really good coat of a black chalk paint, and that worked out perfectly. It only needed 1 coat. Now, once I got that done, I'm going to take a Chalk Couture transfer. Now, I'm not using the Chalk Couture chalk paste because I actually got this chalk paste off of Amazon, but the transfer is from Chalk Couture. Now, I'm just going to cut it to where I can get the one little transfer that says Simply Blessed. I just want that one little piece. We're just going to peel it off, fuzz it a couple times. Now, I've just got an old dish towel that I'm fuzzing it on. I don't have the actual cloth. When we went through the tornado, I lost all of my Chalk Couture stuff. All the paste, all the accessories, all the transfers. I mean, everything's gone. So, anyways, I'm just making do with what I have right now, right? So, this worked out just fine. Just used that chalk paste from Amazon, just like you would the Chalk Couture. You just simply rub it across the top of the transfer, wipe off any excess, and then peel it back to a perfectly placed stencil. It's just perfect. I love, love, love these silk screen transfers. Now, in order to put the bottom back onto this tray, I just simply hot glued it back into place, Very simple. I just used a little bit of hot glue to try to keep from, you know, it oozing out the front whenever you push it back down. But this was so super simple. And I believe that it just took this tray up 1,000 notches. I mean, I really feel like it completely changed the look of this and just really made it look high end. I absolutely love this. So for this second one, and my favorite of the whole video, I have got 3 sets of these bamboo rings from the Dollar Tree. I've got a set of the floral foam and also some floral picks that I picked up from the Dollar General store. I think they are so pretty. The Dollar General has really got some pretty florals in this year. Now, I'm going to take my rings. I've got 3 large and 3 small. First thing I'm going to do is just stick one ring inside the other ring, take the third ring and place inside of that. So we're making like a sphere top thing. I guess that's what you would call this. I don't really know. But anyway, so I play around with it for a little bit, just trying to figure out my placement, make sure I've got everything just like I want it and how it's going to work just exactly. I take a little bit of hot glue and add to the top, slide that first one over and just glue that into place. Now I was able to pick off any excess glue with my fingernail. It was super simple. Take that third ring, slide it inside of the 2 that I already have in there. And then we're going to glue it into place. Add a little bit of hot glue, slide it over, and just put it right into place. That way all 3 have been glued together now and they are all positioned right at the top of this sphere. This was very easy to do. And like I said, any excess glue, you can get it off with your fingernail very easy on that bamboo. Now, for the bottom, what I decided to do for the bottom, instead of adding a bunch of hot glue and having that much more, I'm just going to take a little bit of masking tape, rip off a piece, rip it in half because I had the wide masking tape. I just needed a regular size piece of masking tape. And I'm just going to simply tape this at the bottom because we're going to be adding floral foam and all those florals, greenery, whatnot. You're not going to see it. Plus, that gives me a little extra space to glue my sphere down to one of these wood planks from the Dollar Tree. So I just added some hot glue and then glued that to the center of that wood plank. Y'all, these turn out so pretty. Like, I think that these would be pretty for a bridal shower or a wedding or, I mean, anything like that. I think they would be gorgeous. Now, I did the same exact thing with my smaller set of spheres or hoops, whatever. We're going to turn this into a sphere as well. I just glued the 2 together, then added my third one, added a little bit of hot glue. We're going to glue that one into place. Like before, I was able to get off any excess glue with my fingernail. I'm going to take a little bit of that masking tape just to secure the bottom into place. Plus, it gives me a little extra to add my hot glue to when I go to glue it to that wood plank. So I just add a little bit of hot glue right there to the masking tape and then pop that right in the center of the second wood plank. Now, this is where the fun part started. So I decided I'm just going to add a bunch of hot glue right here and pop this floral foam down, thinking that it's going to glue right into place. No problems, just, you know, whatever. Anyways, it was a little too tall. So I did cut off part of it, like I kind of sliced it in half. But even after I held this sucker into place for like 5 minutes, it still was not sticking. I even touched the hot glue to see if the hot glue was sticky, y'all. I was like, what is happening here? Never, ever had floral foam not just stick really well with hot glue. But I even set a candle on this dude, y'all, and it still was not stuck. Now, there was a little bit of a space between the center of this sphere and the outside edges there. So I did just cut down some floral foam and add that to the edges, which in turn helped me because I was able to glue the floral foam to itself. Because once again, as you can see there, that middle did not stick. I don't know what the problem was, y'all. But when I added hot glue to the floral foam and then glued the floral foam to itself, it glued perfectly. Not a problem. It stayed just right in place. Now, why it would not glue to that sphere, I don't have the slightest clue, y'all. Somebody in the comments let me know what I did wrong because I've never had that problem before. But anyways, as you can see here, I'm just going around the outside edge, adding in a little bit of floral foam, just so that I've got a, pretty even set here. And plus, this will help hold that sphere up and into position. So I wanted to really get it into position and secure. Now, once I got the 4 smaller pieces on, I added a crap ton of hot glue all the way around this thing just to make sure that my floral foam was going to stay in place. Because I'm telling y'all, that center piece just did not want to glue. So, like I said, just added the glue all the way around the outside. Now, it is a hot mess right now, y'all. It looks like a straight up hot mess. But we're going to cover all that and you'll never know that there was a problem. So, I did the same exact thing to the smaller one. I just added my centerpiece, then went around, added my outside pieces, added a crap ton of hot glue to the middle, and then glued that centerpiece down. I cut down all of my florals. Now, this was something I wanted to show you. I was missing an actual floral top. So this actual stem here had like 6 stems on it, but I only had 5 flowers. So that's just something to look out for in the store. Make sure that all of your tops are there. And then the leaves, I'm going to set those to the side, put them in a plastic bag, and save those for like fall, because those are perfect flat leaves to use for like pumpkins and such. So I'm going to save the leaves off of that for a later DIY. I had some eucalyptus that I picked up at Walmart. I feel like Walmart's got the prettiest greenery. In my opinion, Walmart is the place to go for greenery. Anyways, I just cut down that eucalyptus. Now, each stem of that eucalyptus was pretty long, so I was able to cut it off and then cut the stem in half and then use it in 2 pieces. I actually was able to use it in 3 pieces on the smaller one. That's how long those eucalyptus stems are. But anyway, so I just went all the way around the bottom of this, adding in my eucalyptus. That was going to be my longest pieces, so I wanted to add that first. I'm then going to go in with some of this foliage that I got from the Dollar Tree. Now, this is just like green foliage. I added in that. Now, I snipped it off pretty short. I'm then going to add that into all of my floral foam, just going all the way around this little dude. Y'all, these turn out so stinking pretty. Oh my gosh, they are so pretty. Now, once I got done with all of my greenery, so I think I used like I might have used 2 whole little bushes of that greenery, the Dollar Tree greenery, on this big one. And then I just cut down all my flowers and began to place my flowers. Super simple. I think these cream colored ones with like the dried edges, I think are so pretty. Those are from the Dollar General, and I just think that they are gorgeous. Very, very pretty florals. Now, once I had all my flowers in, I realized that I had quite a few little places that you could still see. So I did find some ranunculus that were similar to the same colors that I already had going on. And I just used those to fill in any little blank spots that I had. I did pull the leaves off of the ranunculus because they just were too green. They weren't going to match very well. But I just added in those ranunculus wherever I had a spot. Super, super simple. And then just kind of fluffed it as I went. Look how pretty that is, y'all. Oh, I did the same exact thing for the smaller one. I just cut down all my florals. Now, like I said with the eucalyptus, I was able to cut it into 3 pieces. And then I added in the Dollar Tree foliage and then all of my florals. Are these not gorgeous? Look at these, y'all. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous. Now, I felt like they were just missing something. So I took 2 of these little drawer pulls and also 2 of the half rounds that we used from the previous DIY. I just glued one of those little half rounds with hot glue to the top of my little drawer pull. Now, I got those drawer pulls at my local hardware store. I believe they were about $1.50 for 2, so very, very cheap. But what I was trying to create was like a, oh, I just went blank. What are they called, y'all? Oh my gosh, I just went blank, completely blank, but y'all see what I'm adding here. Yes, we're just going to add a little bit of hot glue and pop those right on top. I felt like that made all the difference, and check these dudes out. DIY number 3. So for this one, I have got 2 of these little signs from the no, these came from the Family Dollar. And then I've got 2 of these signs from the Dollar Tree, 4 of these wood dowels from Hobby Lobby, and then I've got a set of the wood dowels from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing I'm going to do is just go through and open everything up, take off all the embellishments. Now I did break this one trying to get that little dewey out, but no big deal. I just added a little hot glue to the edges of that, folded it back over, and this was totally fine. Now, once I got all of this ready, I'm going to take my wood dowels. I sized them together. They were exact same size, and I wanted one of these to be just a little bit shorter than the other. So I just took some wire cutters and snipped off the ends of those wood dowels, just so that it would be a little bit shorter. Now, I got this little sander from my local hardware store. I think it was about $6 or $7, and it works really, really well. It's got like Velcro on the bottom, and then the sandpaper pieces actually have Velcro on the bottom of them. So it just sticks, and then you're good to go. I took that and used to sand down the end of my dowel rods, just so that I could get those nice and even, nice and flat. No sharp pieces or anything like that. I started out sanding off the top of this. I thought that I could peel the paper off, but that didn't work out too well. I did sand down the glue that was actually on these, because when I painted it, I didn't want you to go back and be able to see the wording on there. So I did make sure and sand these down really, really well to get all of that glue off. Now, the first thing we're going to do is take our smaller signs and our smaller dowel rods, and I'm going to glue one into each corner of this picture. So what we're making is a couple of lanterns. I went blank there for a second, y'all. I guess I've lost it today. I just don't have my words with me today. Anyways, so we're making a couple of lanterns. I just wanted to show y'all how simple this was to do and how you could use exactly what you have at home right now. You don't need anything special. I added a little extra hot glue on the outside edge of those dowels just to make sure. And then on the top, I added glue into all 4 corners and then just pop the top right onto those dowels. Made sure to scoot the dowel rods over into the corners. So super simple, y'all. So simple. And these would be cute for inside or outside. If you wanted to put these out on your patio, these would be gorgeous. For the other lantern, we're going to take the bigger dowel rods and glue those into the corners of our second set of signs. So super simple. Same thing as the beginning. And any excess glue, just wipe it off with your finger. finger protectors are best. I guess my fingers are just so used to hot glue that I don't even feel it anymore. But either way, you can get the hot glue off very easily with just wiping it. Now, I'm just going to add some hot glue to the top of these dowels because they were so much bigger than the other ones. I just decided to add it to the dowel instead of the inside of the picture. And then I just scooted that picture right on top. Made sure that the dowel rods were in each corner. Held those into place. Now our second one's ready. I'm going to go outside with my 2x Rust-Oleum Ultra Matte spray paint and just spray paint these real good. This was the easiest way to do it, and I love the Rust-Oleum because it literally covers up anything. Love, love, love this spray paint. So, like I said, just spray painting those up. Then I'm going to take 2 of the LED candles from the Dollar Tree. Now, I like these LED candles because they kind of have a waxy feel to the outside of them. They're not like shiny plastic or anything. So, they actually look like candles. But I'm just going to pull the little tab on the bottom out. There's a little tab that you pull out, and then you can turn it on. I've got some lamb's ear and some more of the eucalyptus, both from Walmart. I just think that Walmart has definitely got the best greenery. Now, I'm just going to cut these lamb's ear down. I'm trying not to cut off too much of the stem because I want to possibly use these, you know, in another DIY eventually, but I did need the stem cut down, and then I just curled each one of my greenery pieces. I've got 2 of these little, like, chunky, thick wood pieces from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to place one in the bottom of my lantern just to give a little height to my candle. I'm then going to go around the candle with my greenery. Now, like I said, I had already curved each piece of my greenery kind of into the shape of a C, and then was able to just literally place it right in the bottom of this lantern. So super simple. These are gorgeous too. I think they are so pretty. Just added that greenery in, and check this out. So simple, and this is such a pretty piece. Now, for the smaller one, I've got another one of those chunky wood pieces. I'm just going to do the same exact thing, pop that in the bottom to give my candle some height, and then go around the candle with my greenery. Now, the only thing that I forgot to film, and I guess I didn't film it because it was just a last minute like thought, but I had these 2 finials. They were really big finials. And I just popped these right in the center on the top, and I think this turned out gorgeous. For this next one, this is so simple, and this has been made 1,000,005 ways, but since we had already made a tray, I felt like a beaded garland was fitting. So I've got one of these chunky wood crosses from the Dollar Tree. I've got some beads from the Dollar Tree. I've also got some of the thinner nautical rope, also from the Dollar Tree. Those stickers from the Dollar Tree, some Mod Podge, and then a couple different colors of paint. I've got a seashell pink from Folk Art and then white Waverly chalk paint. Now, I started out by just adding a little bit of the white and the pink together. I was looking for a like really light pink. Now, this is a beautiful pink color, but I knew when it dried it was going to be a lot darker than that, so I wanted to lighten it up a lot. Quite a bit more. You can usually tell with paint if it's a really pretty light color. When it dries, it's probably going to be about 2 shades darker than what it looks like when it's wet. So anyways, I just kept adding the white until I got it the color that I was looking for. A very pale pink. Painted my cross with that paint mixture. I just painted the top portion. I didn't want it on the sides. I wanted to leave the sides just raw wood. I used my heat gun to dry it. Now, this heat gun was sent to me in some Happy Mail, and I could not be happier because I love having a heat gun. It just helps so much. It speeds the process up so much. I took one of those stickers, the one that said Hope, placed it in the center of my cross, and then started to just kind of play around with the stickers. There were some buffalo check little dots. I placed those on there. I then took these other little bitty ones. I think they were supposed to be eggs, but I just used them as polka dots and placed those. Then there were these like little olive branch looking things, and they had some little, I guess, olives on them, and I cut those apart just to make some more little polka dots. So like I said, I just played around with the stickers and just placed them wherever, just to decorate this up some, but very simple. I then took some Mod Podge and painted right over the top of my stickers. Now that's just to make sure that I sealed everything in. So very simple to do. Look how cute. I love it. I just love it. Now, I took that beaded garland from the Dollar Tree. When I pulled it out of the bag, I thought, my word, this is super long. Like, this is way too long. So I actually cut it in half and just used half of the beads. Now, I was going to tie this directly to my cross, and then I realized I just didn't have enough twine. So I was going to have to use my own twine and restring all of the beads, which was not a big deal. It didn't take but a couple of minutes. I mean, no big deal. I took a little bit of masking tape, added it to a little bit of the Dollar Tree twine, and then began to restring my beads. And then I realized that's not the way I wanted to do it. I wanted it to be 2 pieces of string. So I just pulled all my beads off and started over again. I then took 2 pieces of twine, pushed those through the cross, took my loop that was at the bottom, and pulled my string back through the loop. So to make a little knot at the top. Now our twine is attached to the cross. So with those 2 pieces of twine, I'm then going to bead or string my beads on to that twine. So super simple. Like I said, it didn't take but a couple of minutes. I just strung those back on, and actually I added in a couple extra beads because it wasn't near as long as what I thought it was going to be. But anyways, so once I got it the length that I actually wanted it, and I had on all the beads that I wanted, I'm then going to take that nautical rope and untwist it. The nautical rope is made up of 3 actual pieces of rope, and they're just twisted together. So I just untwisted it. I needed 1 piece of that. I did take my sand and sponge and kind of go across the top of my cross just to kind of distress those stickers a little bit, but just a little bit, not much. I then used that sanding block to form a tassel. We're making a tassel. So what I'm going to do is pull my string off, or my rope off of the sanding sponge. I'm going to keep it in the loops that I already have it in. Take my 2 pieces of twine, open them up, and then we're going to tie this to the end of the beads. Very, very simple. Now, when I went to tie it, I actually broke the twine. That's something you need to be very careful with when using the Dollar Tree twine. If you pull on it too hard, you will break it, and that's exactly what I did. So with very, very little twine left, I ended up just tying a double knot so that my beads would not come off. And we're going to continue to make the tassel. So once again, I just wrapped my rope around that sanding block to make my loops. I'm going to take some more twine, pull it through the loops, tie it off at the top. Very easily this time. I actually looped it through twice and then tied it. So I actually tied it about 4 times just to make sure that it didn't come undone. And then I just tied that onto the end of the knot. So that way we could attach it to the beads. Very, very simple. I'm going to take another little piece of twine, double it up, and then we're going to tie that up real close to the top of our rope. Super simple. You've probably seen a tassel be made 1,000 times. I probably could have skipped this part, but just in case, I wanted y'all to have this. So I just snipped off the ends of that twine. I then cut open my loops, forming the tassel. Now, at first I was going to leave it like this, kind of kind of curly and goofy looking, you know, it was kind of cute. But I was like, no, I really want to comb this out and just see how fluffy I can get it. So I just took a really thin comb and combed out the nautical rope. Very simple. And then took my scissors and cut it off so that it would be even. I feel like the nautical rope makes a really cute tassel, y'all. It's real thick and chunky, which looks super cute next to the thick and chunky cross. How stinking cute. Okay, last but not least, but one of my favorites for sure. I've got this fresh flowers cut out I got from the Dollar Tree, and then I've also got a frame for $2.99 that came from the Goodwill. Now, the first thing I did was just remove the back so that I could take the glass out. And I had planned to use the glass, but we'll see what happens with that here in a minute. I've got my black chalkboard paint that I always use. It comes from the Dollar Tree, and I absolutely love this paint. I did give this frame 2 really good coats. I was going to go back and distress it, but I wanted it to have a good fresh coat to start with. I then take some of my antique wax by Waverly and a baby wipe, and I'm just going to stain, if you will, the outside part of this Fresh Flower Market sign. So I didn't stain the part that had the little flowers on it. I strictly just stained the sign part of it. I left the part that had the flowers. We're going to actually be hot gluing some dried flowers to that particular spot. And I was afraid if I added the wax to it, that my hot glue wouldn't stick as well. So that's why I did not add any to that center portion there, or that little raised portion. So I just kept adding it and wiping it off until I got it the color that I wanted. Used my heat gun to dry it. I'm then going to take that glass, and like I said, I had planned to use the glass. So I'm taking a baby wipe to clean it because it was super, super dirty, and I broke it. Of course I did. So we're going to chunk that and start over with something new. No big deal, guys. It's just crafting. There's always a way to fix it. So I'm just going to take the cardboard piece that was in the back of the frame. I've got some of this buffalo check vinyl that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut that off about the same size as the cardboard piece. I just left a little bit hanging over the edges. That way I could just fold those over. Make it super simple. I just folded over the bottom or the edge of it, and then I snipped off the corners. Very, very simple. The edge of this side had a little extra, so I did have to cut off a little excess. But like I said, I just snipped off the corners first, then folded down the edge, and then went to the sides and folded those in as well. I took my little sanding sponge and went over the top of the vinyl. Now, that was just to distress this buffalo check just a little bit. I didn't go at it real hard. I just did it a little bit. Now, I have got these Posco, I believe that's how you pronounce it, paint pens that I picked up off of Amazon. They are very highly rated on Amazon, and I can see why. I do like them. I filled in the wording that was on this sign with my Posco paint pen. I'm then going to take some of these. I'm assuming these are solo wood flowers. They are... No. Let me take that back. These are not solo wood. Some of these are wood. Some of these are like foam feeling. But the reason that I don't know exactly where these came from is because these were sent to me in some Happy Mail, and I've been dying to use them. Oh my gosh. They are so stinking pretty. I love the colors that's in this. I just love everything about these little flowers. But anyways, they do have more of a foam feel to them than like a wood feel. So not totally sure if they're solo wood, but either way, I just took some hot glue and began to place these flowers at the bottom of this little sign. So super simple. I just played around with it until I got the perfect placement of the flowers. Hot glued those down. I think this turns out gorgeous. I actually gave this sign to my mother-in-law to go in her kitchen because she's got a lot of different buffalo check stuff in her kitchen. I thought this would be super pretty for spring. So anyways, once I got that done, I'm going to take our cardboard piece that has the vinyl over it, add a little bit of hot glue to the corners of my frame, and then just place this piece down in there. Now, I added the hot glue to the corners because there were little clips on the back, so I was able to just clip this in, but I added the hot glue just for a little extra amount of security to make sure that that back was going to stay on. I then added hot glue to the back of my Dollar Tree sign, a crap ton of hot glue, and placed that in the center of our picture. How pretty is this, y'all? Oh, and I actually went around and distressed the frame. I forgot to show that part, but I did go through and distress the frame. And I think this is absolutely stunning. All right, y'all, that was it for today. I hope that y'all have enjoyed this. I really tried to put something together that was going to be simple to do, but turn out absolutely gorgeous. If y'all did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It definitely does help my channel. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family and subscribe. That would be awesome. Plus, hit that notification bell so that you will know each time I upload a new video. Thank you all so much for being with me today, and y'all have a blessed day.